Hi, my name is Samantha and I'm going to tell you about my final results from my radish experiment. First, let's talk about the materials and methods I used. I used 30 planting pods, a glass covering, a plastic covering, potting soil, tap water, 2 packs of radish seeds, pen and a pad of paper, and a ruler. The methods I used was I filled each pod with 3 tablespoons of soil, then I planted about 8 seeds, an inch into the soil in each individual plant, and then I watered each once a day with a tablespoon of water. I covered one set with the plastic covering and another with the glass covering. The third I left alone to use as a natural environment. I then put the 3 sets in direct sunlight, which was in my sunroom, and I recorded the height after 13 days, which was half the maturing time of the radishes. Comparing the results of the 3 sets was the next thing I did, and then I repeated the entire process to use as a different cycle, as a different trial. So the trial 1 results were the numbers show the height of each individual plant, and the numbers 1 through 10 are each individual pods. So you can see that the natural environment average is significantly lower than both the glass and the plastic environment average. The plastic and glass environment average are mostly the same, but differs like a little bit. But overall, the glass and plastic did much better than the natural. The plastic is just an inch smaller than the glass. So in the graph, you can see that overall the glass and the plastic stayed at a pretty close range, while the natural, which is represented by the blue, is always a little lower than both of them, except for the glass in number 6, where it just is very large. So for trial 2, the results, the difference is that the numbers are just, or the heights are just larger, but the trend in the data just stays the same. The glass and the plastic are both much larger than the natural environment, and the glass and the plastic are still only less than an inch apart in height. So in the graphs, it just shows again how the plastic and the glass stayed pretty constant with each other, except at number 8, the natural and the plastic had the same height, but overall it's pretty much constant between the two of them. And the natural, which is represented by the blue, stays much lower than both the glass and the plastic. So let's talk about why it happened. The plastic and the glass containers kept the heat and humidity in, while the natural environment allowed the water to evaporate. So when the sunlight would heat up the water in the soil and the plant, it would evaporate into the air. So in the glass and the plastic containers, when the water would evaporate, it would just condense on the top of the containers. This would form droplets, and then when the droplets got so heavy, after more water would evaporate up, they would just drop down on the plants, restarting the cycle again. So it would just be a continuous cycle of the water in the plants. But the natural environment didn't allow that because it didn't have that capturer to get the evaporating water that was in the air. The glass overall worked the best because the container was larger. The container was larger only because it was the only container I could find. But I thought in the beginning the plastic with the smaller container would be more helpful because it would allow the water to just drop in a more specified area instead of dropping all over the place. But it instead restricted the area in which the plants could grow. So overall, the glass did the best. A way that you could take this experiment one step further is to see whether color or translucent or clear glass or plastic works the best. So overall, that's my experiment. I hope you like it, and thanks for watching.